You already know what to do. Subscribe, like, put it in the comments, and share the content. This way, we can help the channel grow. If it worked for me, it can work for you. Peace.
My bad, y'all.
Listen, before we get out of here, got another legend over there from Robeson, Shamel Jones, right there, Georgetown University. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely got to highlight that.
Fact, Georgetown and Memphis. Started at Georgetown, then went to, so last week, Coach Calipari was his coach at Memphis.
Wow,
he was at Memphis with Calipari. So last week, Arkansas was playing in Memphis, so him and his son went down there. They had a whole big reunion thing down there.
See?
Yeah, so
things you don't know. His Basketball Heads episode coming soon. Y'all already know we already have Phil Grant. All right, now we're going to get another one, Todd Myles. Let's go. He worked for Barstool. And he put up a foul post about Tiny and Major.
Or
facts, you know. Put the hook, like, it was foul, and I'm like, yo, Kirk, we were just like, all right, we here to protect our legends. He can't speak for himself no more. Stop.
I didn't see it.
I'll show you it.
All right.
I'll show you it.
Yeah, I ain't see it.
Definitely gonna show you it.
But this is the legendary office.
Nah, that's my guy right there. Major's always show love. Like Ty said, yo, Mage bought him to BRC to watch me play and go, if you want to learn how a big guard play, watch this guy right here. I had no idea.
Crazy.
I forgot about this. He said, yo, I got to shake your hand and everything. He told me to keep it going, so I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
I'm like, yo, bro. And I tell dudes, I said, yo, a lot of times, people be saying things about people, because you in it, you're not remembering everything. But those people who look up to you and watch you,
because it touched them,
they don't
like,
forget anything.
Yeah,
that's
especially when it meant something to them. Especially when
That's
they
a
miss something.
Yeah.
People don't know. So I wasn't coming to Robeson. Originally, I was going to Van Arsdale because Jermaine Smoke. Remember?
That's old.
Jermaine Smoke. I lived on the second floor. Jermaine Smoke lived on the fifth floor.
Wow.
So,
all right. Welcome to High School Basketball Weekly. Preseason runs, season 2. We're here at the legendary Paul Robeson High School. Man, first of all, I want to start off by introducing our guest here today. We got founding principal, Mr. Rashid Farard Davis. And then we have newly announced head coach, Phil Grant. All right, and now we got former coach, former player, former coach, and now athletic director. Welcome back, New York City great. Most definitely a legend in our books. So we're just gonna say that. Mr. Todd Myles, welcome back, brother, and welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want to say, man, I'm so proud that you guys are back home. It means a lot to the city. We missing something like this, right? This is nostalgia. This is something that, you know, people remember the greatness, and now that you guys are back home, I think it's only right that you get back to the status that you guys were. All right. So, Mr. Davis.
Yes.
I know you had a hand in building this team right here, right? Who did you reach out to first? Did you reach out to Todd? Did you reach out to Phil? Like, how did that process work? And what were you thinking about when you had to hire these guys?
Prior to coming to Robeson, I worked at John F. Kennedy High School.
Okay.
With Coach Mathis, Johnny Mathis.
Another legend.
And so
Rest in peace.
When the decision was made that I would come to Brooklyn, Johnny Mathis said, I have someone who will take care of you, who I used to coach when he was a young player. And that person was Todd Myles. And so that's how I came into the picture, meeting Todd when he was here at the campus, then working for Robeson before it phased out.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it just became natural that the glue that we needed to keep the athletics program in place, Todd Myles would remain on as coach and athletic director after Robeson phased out and after P-Tech and Health Careers came into the picture. And then it became Todd introducing me to Phil and other alumni, saying these are people who came from Robeson that you should know. Yeah, I wanted to hire Phil long time ago. He chose to go to the other side of charter first and not come home.
Well, I think it's cool that he went somewhere and proved himself, right?
Right.
Because he knows what it's like to be a champion, and now he's a champion as a coach.
He didn't need to prove himself to me because the banners were already up there in the gym. The banners were already up in the gym, and Todd had already said of who he was, and I had already read about him in terms of going to college, so he was already proven.
No doubt.
I'll tell a funny story.
Go ahead, man.
We went out to dinner one night, right? Me, Todd, Mr. Davis, a couple other alumni, Ervin was there. So Mr. Davis, at the end of the dinner, he was like, no, actually before the dinner, he said, yo, I know all of this wasn't to sell Phil. He was like, y'all wasting my time. He said, I spoke to Phil years ago. So it was like this conversation had been had between me and Mr. Davis. So when everybody tried to present it to him, he was like, y'all wasting my time with this. He was like, we had this conversation a long time ago.
Yeah. We didn't ask him to come home because he won a championship. He left here a champion.
Wow. Todd, man. Man, listen, bro. We want to say glad to have you back. And look, now that you're athletic director, what were some of the things you were thinking about as far as rebuilding the program back to, you know, when you played and of course, and you was here as a coach?
Well, you know, a few things happened when that situation happened that dropped us down from 4A to 3A, and I watched our program become a little desolate. And you know, people were saying things to me the whole time. You know, me and you live in the same community.
Yeah.
And I just thought that Mr. Davis had spoke to Phil when I was out, I wasn't here, as well as I had spoke to Phil about 7 to 8 years ago. It said that, you know, I'm getting older. At some point, I had told Phil that I'm gonna go to administration, and then you're gonna come in and take care of the program. We just never knew it would happen like this. So many people, you know, didn't know that we had these conversations. And what really sold me, Phil called me one night, brings tears to my eyes. He said to me, I want to make you proud, you and me. And that's what I knew, that he was the man for the job. Because as a black man, many people don't say stuff like that. He called me in the middle of the night one night, and he told me he wanted to make me proud. And I just held the phone. And that was the determining factor when I said, Mr. Davis, you gotta bring him back. Because as a black man, I don't even know if I could tell another black man I want to make you proud. And then he said it out publicly in front of like 30 alumni one night again. And I said to myself, wow, he really bleeding and living this. Like he feeling this. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing for me. Because I remember when Mays used to sell candy. People don't remember those stories. And we didn't have uniforms. And then when I came, Shamel came, then all these guys came, we became like a national powerhouse, and then things just started coming. But I remember when we didn't have uniforms. You know, we had 7 Division I players, but we had nothing.
Ooh.
You know, we didn't have anything. We had 8, and we didn't have anything when I was a sophomore. So I know my junior and senior year was very prolific, but the first 2 years were a struggle. So we needed a person that understood the struggle. You know, so if I'm not here, Mr. Davis is retired, I'm retired, the legacy keeps going on. You know, we had some guys that try to hold together, but it's not the same. The glue is not the same. I always tell people, there's different types of glue. There's alma, there's crazy glue. I always use this. And you know, the crazy glue will keep it together a little longer. And I thought Phil would be perfect. You know, other people might be upset that we chose Phil. Even some of the alumni people, they thought they should have had an opportunity. But his character and him coming here, he had the right demeanor. You know, he has the right attitude. He's the man for the job. You know, you have to be the man for the job. And I thought he was the man for the job. But when he said that to me, he wanted to make me proud and make Mr. Davis, all of us proud. That's different. That's a different conversation. That's a different meaning, different sentiment. And I just said to myself, hey, I'm here to help you and make sure you have the tools that you need to fix it. And that's what I'm here for. I think Mr. Davis as well. Mr. Davis is definitely an athletic principal as well as an academic principal. And I think you have to have the right principal.
That's right.
Because I know some coaches around the city that I'm friends with, and they having problems at schools they've been at for 25 years, 30 years. The principals come in and they want to get rid of the sports, or they think the coach is bigger than the program. And he's really not, but the principal feels like that, he wants to knock you down. Mr. Davis was never like that. Dr. Wells, I also say he was never like that. Ms. Martin was not like that. But some principals are definitely like that. And I just have been very fortunate to come back here. And when I was Mr. Davis, I wouldn't even be back here. We both wouldn't be here. So that's why we asked him to come to the meeting, because it's very important that people know that without him, there's not us either. You know, I call him the Larry Majors with dreads. He believed in us like Larry did when he was younger. I never saw his vision. I thought he was, you know, he bring all these guys here to the little school with no gym.
Right.
But he saw the big picture. He saw things that, I don't want to tell the story too much, but my mother didn't want me to come here. She begged me not to come here. You know, and I was like, I'm going to Robeson. And it's the best decision I made. I always tell people, I went down Atlantic Avenue, I didn't keep going straight. I made a left on Albany Avenue, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did.
And now they have the opportunity to grow further because we are an early college school. So the students could leave here with a free 2-year degree in STEM. So it's a different level of equity and different level of economic opportunity that we can attract different students in terms of to leave what's possible. So they could be playing basketball and experiencing college at the same time, being better prepared. And so Phil has already have tall orders that it's not just about playing basketball, but growing another league. Because we have students can stay on for grades 13 and 14. So how do we even think about creating another league that would compete with the JUCOs and the transfer school opportunities of our students stay here and get the free degree if they don't earn a degree by grade 12?
Wow, that's amazing. I think y'all will be revolutionizing the way New York City is seen, right? Because we only have a few schools that's doing that in New York City on that end, but you guys will be taking it to a whole nother level. Mr. Davis, tell me some things about Mr. Mathis that you learned, right, from both administration end and athletic end that kind of make things like this possible.
So first and foremost, Johnny Mathis brought 2 of his sons from Brooklyn to the Bronx. He wasn't just a coach. He believed in enough in us as a faculty and staff to bring his children. So that commute every day that he did, that I saw both of his kids grow up and do, it was a different kind of respect as a black man looking at another black man who was a giant. So he was a gentle giant. He wanted every kid who wanted to play basketball to play basketball. He wouldn't cut students from his team. Those who tried out, he would give them the opportunity. So I saw someone who believed that basketball could save lives, because that's what he said. And so he did what he did out of love, but he knew that it could ultimately save lives. And so it was that really propelled me to think completely different about leadership and education. My mother was a high school basketball player who dropped out of high school because she got pregnant with me. So to be able to embrace athletes who have done well at high school, have done well at college, it's a big difference. And to know that it really can save lives. So I use so many lessons from him. When it was a hard decision because I was born in the Bronx. So to be a Bronx principal, I thought I had already been successful. I didn't need to do anything else. He's like, you can't say no to this opportunity. I don't want you to go to Brooklyn, but if you got to go to Brooklyn because it's literally walking distance from his house. He said, I'm going to tell you how you're going to get there and you're going to be okay. That's it.
Coach, man, I want to say, man, I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you.
I watch you grow as a coach at Summit and bring them a championship that a lot of people didn't believe you probably could do, right?
Facts.
You defied the odds, and now you're here taking on another mission. What does it mean to be home, brother?
So the first thing I want to thank D'Artagnan Mixon and Summit Academy, because Coach D gave me my first coaching experience. Yes. And even when all of this came about, D knew where my heart was at. So he was kind of like pushing me out the door. Yeah, so once he heard the rumors, he sat me down. He was like, listen, I know that's where your heart is. He was like, you can't turn it down. Because when Mr. Davis first came to me, my son was playing for me at Summit. So I was like, I don't really want to leave. I want my son to be here. I don't know if he's ready to play over there. So I just kept putting it off. But then it's like, I don't know, it was like fate. Like this time, it was just like, it was perfect timing. We had just came off a chip. And everybody at Summit knew, everybody that knows me knows, the order of operations of my life is my family and then is Robeson. Like all my friends are from Robeson. Everybody's back. You see Shamel and Eric, my assistant coaches. We've been together 30 plus years. Nikki is like our general manager. She went here with Todd. So it's like everything I've done always been about Robeson. So coming back here is like when I first walked in the gym. Like every day I walk in the gym, I still get that same feeling of nostalgia. Like walking in here, we all get teared up coming in here. Like coming in here, looking at all this, no matter how many times we do it, it still just bring up certain emotions, and it's hard to explain. But I don't know, coming to Robeson, this is unreal. Like it's hard to put this into words to be able to come back to the place that raised me. Like, so even Todd, even when he say I called him Todd, make you proud, like I came in as skinny freshman getting cursed stopped by Todd if I made a bad pass. So for us to grow together, and like now for us to be co-workers, and he's my athletic director, he hired me. I don't know.
As a player, you played for him.
No, well, with him, I played with him.
I played with him 2 years. So okay, so he was older. He was the OG.
Yeah, he had about 2 years. Yeah.
Right.
I can't. This is why I came in watching. Like I came in. I played varsity. I mean JV my freshman year. At the end of the year, they moved me up to varsity. I was on the team when he hit the buzzer beater to win the city championship.
Yo, first of all, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Todd was one of the first big guards, like point guards, right? We had some big guards. I was a big guard, but like far as a point guard,
Todd might be the first in New York City.
We didn't see that.
Nah.
We didn't see that. What was it like, man? Like you being a one-on-one during the era that you came up, brother?
Well, you know, I played on a preteen team when I was the biggest guy. We had Jamar Tisley, LeVar Folks, we had Charles Jones, we had News from McClancy, we had a baby Jesus Malik from Fort Greene. We had 6, 7, we had 2 pros on that team. And I was the point guard then. I was bigger, big Mel Tisley, a little than me. And I knew back then that I had a special little gift that God had given me. And Maze just, I've been with Maze since I was 9 years old. That's why it's a little emotional for me. Because I've been with him a long time. He begged my mother to let me play. My parents were correction officers. My parents didn't care about no basketball, man. And Larry saw something in me. And then Charles and them, they do the right thing. I say it on the camera. We always supposed to come to Robeson. And I'm the only one that came. So I always tell people I got the long end of the stick. Because, when I stopped playing, when I came from China, I was hurt. I came to Robeson and Mr. Weston told me you start on Monday. I don't know if I was with the Lachlan or Christ the King, that would have happened like that. And I was able to take care of my family because of Larry Majors, Mr. Weston, and Mr. Davis. They've been very good to me. Mr. Weston was my science teacher in high school. He became an assistant principal my senior year. When I came back, he was the principal. So my life journey has been, I've been coming to Robeson since 1989. Major bringing me here, So I've been very fortunate. And he put the ball in my hands as a freshman. And he said, we're going to go as you go. And I'll never forget, I went to ABCD and to BC All-Star Camp, and Robeson never been the same. Ever since he said I was the first one to go, and it's never been the same. Everybody else started going. Everybody else had an opportunity, and then that's why I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. We just had a 2-hour conversation upstairs earlier. I'm very grateful. He might not think so. He yells at me sometimes, but I'm very grateful because my path has been Albany Avenue for 40 years. Many people can't say that.
That's a fact.
They sent me more than enough text to remind me that you were coming. And I wanted you to be here earlier, but you interrupted my day because you couldn't get here sooner. So I had to stick around to do what, to be here. But I think it's important. We're talking about over 30 years in what we're calling home. 2 black men wanting to come to a school for home. You know how powerful that is? As a black male principal to be able to do this? It was a no-brainer. That goes back to Johnny Mathis. What I saw him do for his children. And the conversation that he had about Todd. And the conversation Todd had about him and all of the other players. The amount of alumni that I met over the years, because it's a sense of pride that he has for them, that he has for the love of basketball, for a love of the culture. And so to be able to understand that, but to understand the bigger impact Education saves lives.
Yes.
And basketball is the conduit for many to get an education. And that's what I'm about. I'm about making sure that we can help children and adults live better lives.
What were the steps that you took to make sure that you get the right pieces, to start this journey as far as the players, right? Because I know you got handed the job a little late, right? You wasn't able to do the recruiting that most people got to do during the summer. Mm-hmm. But what did you do to get the team that, some of the team that we saw that was out in the court right now?
So I didn't bring too many pieces with me. Ian was a no-brainer. Ian, again, his father's alumni, his father's my assistant coach.
Right.
So Ian was definitely coming with me. Then David had just came to Summit last year. So when he started hearing the rumors, David was coming to me asking me, can he come? I knew we didn't have much size over here because I watched them. So I knew it wasn't much size. So I said, it makes sense for me to bring David. And then Zaire is just a little small, tough, annoying guard that I met in the summer. I was just like, I just like this kid and just how tough he is. And I just knew he's the type of kid that I like. I like that he's a Robeson kid, like a hard-nosed, tough. We're known for having tough guards. Like that's our staple. So I thought Zaire would be one of those guards. And other than that, I didn't bring anybody else in. But when I looked at the team and with like their makeup from last year, my biggest thing was just tweaking the way they play a little bit. But I said the first thing we got to change the mindset, right? I just got to get them to start thinking a different way and then just playing a different style of basketball. So I think if we change the way we play a little bit, I think we can have some success.
You was talking about the style of play, right? Mm-hmm. That people were used to seeing at Robeson throughout the years. You said it's going to change a little bit. How was it going? Not giving too many secrets away, but
it's no secret.
Right.
All I do is play full court man to man. That's what we did here when I was here. Like I don't know another way. Like I'm just full court man to man. So you got to be in really good shape and you got to be able to defend. Like that's what we're gonna hang our hat on until we get some different kind of personnel in. We always, no matter who we get in, we're always going to be a full court man-to-man team. But that's what we need to do this year. That's going to be our staple. It's always going to be our staple, but that's what I had to change this year. Like in the previous years, when me watching them, we played a little bit of zone. We didn't pressure the ball the way we're going to pressure the ball this year. So I just think little things like that is going to be the difference. That's going to start us get heading on the right path. Just changing the culture, getting the culture back to where it belongs, and changing the mindset.
I know culture is something that you guys believe in. You've been talking about this for this whole interview. Todd, as athletic director, what is your job and what do you have to do to kind of maintain it and bring about this culture and keep it here?
Well, I say this, even when I was coaching, I think I see things in a different lens now. I was the athletic director coach for 18 straight years. I think now I can sit back and really relax for the first time in 25 years. Like I see him, I see the girls coach, I see the JV coach, I see the soccer coach, whatever coaching. It's different now because we put people in place that we can't just relax, but we know that the program is in good hands. So I just think that with what Mr. Davis did, along with some of my, suggestions, I think we put a nice coaching crew together, all together, to help rebuild the program in a manner that, like I said, when we're gone, the school's in good hands. Because he has a lot more years to work. The girls coach has a few more years to work. The soccer coach has 10, 12 years to work. The JV coach has 10, 15 years to work. So now, Mr. Davis can leave tomorrow. I'm 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can leave. So I just think that the program overall, from top to bottom almost, is in good condition. It was in good condition before, but I think it's in better condition now. We got somebody that just came off winning. We just hired a guy that was at South Shore, the girls coach for many years. He's on the NY. He saw 7 championships. You can't get any better.
That's
bring
right.
Championship coaches in, right? Now with talent, you got other guys who, like Chanel who played, Eric who played. You got guys who play Division I. They know how hard you have to work. They know what needs to be done. Study hall, training table. They understand. So I can go home. I don't have to stay at 6 o'clock and watch. If I want to leave at 5 o'clock, I can go home because I know the program's in good hands. I know the kids are good, in good hands. And that's what I wanted. I wanted, if I was going to step down and I take the job, that the job be in good hands. And I know that we're going to rebuild. And I wanted to make sure that the program also is competitive. That was my main thing. Not just varsity boys across the top. I want to make sure we're looking good, we're smelling good, and we're playing good. Well, that's how I left it. I don't want anybody to say I left it in bad hands. I want to make sure it's in good hands. And that's what we got. That's all I ask Phil. Just make sure that we are competitive.
They got to step up a little more than that. Just, they already know my expectations. I think that we should be able to challenge basketball's one and done reality, because we could have students leave with a college degree. So if you leave with a two-year college degree under your belt, you've already met that 1 year of college. So I think that, with the talent and the academic reality of what we can attract, we can open up so many different opportunities with what they bring to the table.
So just tell the audience, right, and explain to them why it's important for them to come to Robeson and jumpstart their academic years like they could coming here.
Absolutely. Most students across the country who participate in dual enrollment, meaning they have the opportunity to experience college early, are not Black or Hispanic students. But here at the Paul Robeson Campus, 95% of our students are Black or Hispanic, and 78% of them experience passing a college course by their senior year, with 35 going on to earn a STEM degree in computer science within 2 years. Nationally, 6 years after enrolling in college, only 8% of students who come from high poverty, high minority schools earn a STEM degree, and 35% of our students have done so within 2 years. So you have the opportunity to academically and athletically to prove that you're both ready to play on the court, but also to sit in a college class.
What do you think that's going to do for like your recruitment and getting kids in here to the school to come play for you guys and be under the tutelage of yourself and these great men right here?
I mean, so if I'm a parent, like I am a parent,
right.
But if I'm looking to send my son to school, like I can't just look at the athletic side, right? I have to look at the academics. And if somebody's sitting there telling me my son could go play at a high level and also leave with a degree, I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer. That's definitely somewhere that I'm highly considering if I know my kid can walk out of here with a degree. Because like you said, and it's for free. You get a 2-year STEM degree for free. So that definitely would be somewhere that I would be pushing my kid to go to. And then now when I look at the sports side, I want my kids to learn from people who did it already.
Yeah.
And you got the people who did it at the highest level. Like we got, I'm a graduate of Iona, graduate master's degree, Shamel Jones, Georgetown, Memphis.
You're a Hall of Famer from Iona.
Hall of Famer from Iona. You're right. Again, Shamel Jones, Georgetown, Memphis, Eric Williams, Syracuse, UMass. So you're learning from people who've done it at the highest level. Todd Myles, West Virginia, Mississippi State. So I think we have one of the best coaching staffs. I mean, it'll be hard to find this many guys that played at this level almost anywhere that's on one coaching staff.
I agree with that.
And again, it ain't even just about what we did, right? We have a lot of knowledge. Like, we learn from some of the best coaches. We played with some of the best coaches, so we bring some of that same knowledge back here. And again, it showed. I've like you said, I've proven myself that I can win. Because even though I won one in 2020, if COVID don't happen, I get another championship because we're going to the quarterfinals undefeated. The semis undefeated. Paul, you were there because you've always been one of my biggest supporters.
Yep.
Always from day one. All right, so we're bringing a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience on the court, and then off the court, Mr. Davis has laid everything out that kids need to be successful.
Todd, I'm a very spiritual person, right? I know Coach Larry Majors is in this room right here with us right now, right? What do you think he's saying to us as he looks at us, conduct his interview?
He definitely yelled at me, like he always. He yelled at me, and he's saying to me, he used to say this to me all the time, you squeeze the juice out of the orange until you have no more juice. So he would say to me, he will only want one of us to have the job. That's a fact. I'm just telling you that. Because, when he left, he went to the principal and said, I ain't resigning unless, Todd got the job. I was coaching the girls. I had a run the first 2 years. Back-to-back quarterfinals. And I said to myself, I don't deal with them knuckleheads. And then I started doing the boys I fell in love with. So I think he definitely would be smiling, man. And he'd be grateful, he'd be very happy that we sticking together. Because that was his thing, man. Us against the world. You know, he didn't mean it in a, negative way, but he felt that way. Like, it's just us. Robeson. And he, he really believed that, man. And he made us believe that. No matter what happened, me and Phil see each other for 5 years, or Shamel, it was a family, man. Wherever we go, it was a family, always. And that was because of him. I can't lie. He made us love each other and take care of each other, especially when we were here. If one of us going down, all of us going down. One of us going up, all of us going up. And they seen the struggle. They didn't see what I see. They had a little bit easier. But Larry made his kid about kids, man. Unfortunately, what happened is, unfortunate, but he definitely cared about kids, man. He really did, man. I want to be here. I tell people all the time. I was going somewhere else. I want to see the school, but it wasn't public. And I made a left on Albany Avenue, man. And I believed in him. And I believed in him until the day, he died. I was the last player with him. So I have different sentiment for him. I really do. Because I loved him a lot for what he did for me. I got hurt. He the first one. I had back surgery. I woke up. My high school coach is there. First one. I woke up out of surgery. I looked up. He's right there. With the white teeth saying something smart. So I appreciate that. I appreciate him. And I have a lot of loyalty to these guys because of him. And you don't really get black men or coaches that care about kids the way he took care of us. And I'm going to say this, I don't want to say anything else. I never paid a cell phone bill until Larry Majors died. I was a grown man working at Robeson, and he was paying my cell phone bill. I was a grown man owning a home, and he was paying my cell phone bill from college all the way that I had worked here 4 or 5 years with him. I don't have to say anything about him and my relationship and how I felt about him. I never paid a cell phone bill till he died.
Wow. What about yourself?
I wasn't coming here either. Like, I didn't meet Mage until maybe 2-3 days after the start of my freshman year. I was playing with Brooklyn USA with Ziggy at the time. I was going to Van Arsdale, like Jermaine, Smoke, and Rippy. I remember when I was in 5th grade, Jermaine Smoke lived on the 5th floor, I lived on the 2nd floor. My 5th grade teacher used to take me to Van Arsdale to watch those guys play. So I just knew I was going to Van Arsdale. I wanted to be like Rip and Smoke. The first day of school, Ziggy called me, said, meet me at your house, I'm coming to speak to your mom. He told my mother, he said, if you want your son to be something, you'll sit on the Robeson. The next day, I spoke to Mage. Mage told me to come here and meet up with Shamel. Shamel took me to practice, and it was history. Like, we were literally family from the first day I met any of these guys. The first day I met Shamel took me back to his house so he could get himself a practice. Came here, met Todd, met Eric, and we've been inseparable ever since. Met Alan. Alan's still my best friend to this day. We've been inseparable ever since. Something you said earlier, we talked about changing the culture. So these kids now, right, they see a lot of the names and the jerseys hanging up, but they couldn't put a face to these names. So far, Gary's been back, Malcolm, Delroy and Malcolm are actually playing against each other in our holiday classic. Big Don, all the alumni has been coming back, so now these kids, they know G. Erv, the coach of Nash, but they never really seen him. They didn't even know Malcolm went to Robeson, so they see these names, so now they're putting all of these faces with these names that they hear in the streets, the jerseys that they see hanging up. So now the kids are starting to feel like they're a part of something because these guys are coming back, telling them the stories about Robeson, about Mage, so now they're starting to feel like they're a part of it, so now they're starting to buy in. So that was the most important thing to me, how am I going to get these kids to buy in? And these guys made it easy for me, like just everybody coming back, being present, everybody's been here to support. Like the support so far from the alumni has been amazing. Like we've had great support so far.
Man, that is incredible. One of the reasons why I do basketball heads and high school basketball weekly is to bridge the gaps, right? So if kids is going to my channel to look at their game, they're bumping to your interview.
Yep.
They're busting the G. Erv interview, Malcolm's interview, right? And we'll get Todd's later. His story is amazing within itself. But they'll bump it to Jamel and Eric, right? So, and all these other New York City legends that these kids can kind of learn from.
5 years ago with you.
When I first started Basketball Heads, right?
COVID, we did an interview.
And I want to say something about this guy. This guy is, I didn't want to do any interviews.
That's right.
I'm not a big interview person. Even when I was coaching here, Mr. Davis said, "Oh, you don't like the media." I've always been like, fall back from that. I'm cutting my grass. This guy come to my house, make sure I do the interview. So I respect that, and I had to simmer down from my situation. So I want you to understand that I had to, I had to digest it.
Trust me, I know.
Situation before, so I had to digest it.
And then there's like, Pooh, Todd don't like nobody, right? Like, not like this is before as like the media coming want to talk and get information, and he had to put one and one together. I know he knew my face before I was doing this a long time ago.
I know since I was a kid, yeah.
Right? So coming up. And speaking of Mage, man, he meant a lot to me because he was one of a few black men that would stop at the park or at the games I was at and show me love, right? So when a young Farard was coming up, and Ty told me the story, I didn't even know, I didn't even remember. Ty told me, like, yo, Pooh, Major brought me to a game, he was playing at BRC, just to show me what a big guard plays like. And then afterwards, you shook my hand and you gave me some, some advice, and that meant a lot to me. He's a grown man, like he don't have to say this to me. He don't owe me anything, right? And we became tight. And on my platform, people see a lot of these amazing graphics that he does for me, right? It's because of the love and something that I did for him as a kid.
Yeah.
Those things go a long way, right? And I think for what you guys is doing, not only for the kids in the school, but for the community, right? Look at this, man. You got 3 strong black men right here, man, from different generations, doing it for your school and community and for future leaders, right? For boys and girls alike.
Well, you mentioned the culture. You started this about this is the culture. And sometimes, right now, the climate that we live in, we have a lot of people who want to have a cancel culture because of negative experiences, bad decisions, incidents. But, like an eagle, you still got to soar. The world doesn't stop because of bad decisions or,
we protectors of the culture.
Yeah.
I would just tell them, and I'm not going to mention this on here because I'm not going to give the person any light, but there was a certain thing that was said, and it wasn't the black person.
But can so
you know what I'm saying?
Are you taping?
Okay.
So again, there was just some negative energy out there, and I didn't go back with it with negative energy, right? Only thing I said was that we not here to do that. We're not here to do that, and I don't think you should do that on your platform because if you're about kids and you're about people who service kids, this is what it's about, right? Keep that, and if people not here to kind of defend themselves, leave it alone. Right? So this is another reason why I'm really connected to the story in this way. It's not just another interview because here's a man that used to instill confidence in me. Even before I met Farard, he brought him to me, being at the parks, telling me to keep going. When a lot of guys would just bypass the park, would be working out, man. So I'm gonna say salute to Coach Majors and everything he done for me, man. And you want to say something, Mr. Davis?
I just think it's important that children can't pay for the sins of their parents. They can't. And in many regards, coaches become parents. That's just the reality of that. And as leaders, we don't get to really try to rewrite history, omit history. We learn from it, and we try to make the community and the world better from it. So,
any last word before we go ahead?
I'm just very grateful, man, for Mr. Weston. I always thank for him because he gave me my first opportunity to come here and made me athletic director and coach. I'm very grateful for Larry Major seeing a 9-year-old boy in 309 Park shooting, and I'm very grateful for Mr. Davis, Johnny Mathis intertwining us and making a brotherhood and Without those guys, then, you know, in different segments of my life, you know, my life could have been a lot different. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be very grateful for those three, especially Larry, Mr. Westfield, and Mr. Davis. I'm very grateful. I am. When he's had a knack for scoring. I saw it. I said, yo, you want to be a mid to high major? He looking at me, running around looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm telling you. And they wound up Oklahoma State, started at North Texas, Xavier. You know, you go to the Big 12, you average 12 points, you can play. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Phil's on his way with that. Definitely, for sure with that. He's on his way.
No doubt. And your last words that you want to say before we get out of here, Coach?
I'm just happy to be home, man. Like, again, I always want to thank D'Artagnan and Summit Academy for what those guys did for me, like giving me my first experience. And now I want to thank Todd and Mr. Davis for bringing me back home. Like, I'm just ready to get to work, man.
Well, listen, we're going to wrap this up. We started this with culture, right? And that's how we're going to end it. Rebuilding culture and legacy. Like we said, we here because this one man, Mr. Majors, kind of influenced everything that's happening right now as far as all these pictures and all this greatness that's going on and what he done for myself, man. So we here to pay homage to him and also celebrate these three gentlemen right here that's keeping his legacy going and bringing Paul Robeson back to greatness. Well, we're about to get out of here. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, High School Basketball Weekly, Preseason Runs. Coach, let's go to the gym, man, and check it out.
Go.
All right? All right, no doubt.
Good, man. Oh.
We got life.
Go ahead, Pooh.
All right, welcome back, High School Basketball Weekly. We here, as the head coach, Mr. Gary Ervin. G, we're gonna get to what you're doing right now, but I just had to let you know on camera, we just came from your alma mater, man, and to see all the great things that was accomplished at that school, man, it blew me away today. Pause, like on some real, just sitting down with Todd, Phil, Mr. Davis, the new principal, and seeing all the nostalgia in Coach Major's room, man, it just blew me away, man. What are some of the things that you remember about being at Paul Robeson?
I mean, first we can start that room, you know, obviously, because it was a lot of people before me, right, that reached, you know, those heights that I was trying to reach, right? So I used to always walk in there, and we used to watch film in there, so you have to look at all of the history, you know, that Mage, you know, put together, you know, and it's always, you know, special walking in that building, right? When I go there, I go down the same staircase. I tell people I would never go down one staircase. Always go up the, you know, the same way, but it's just certain things that, you know, it just bring back, you know, so much memories. And I always tell people it's kind of, you know, I know a lot of history, but I feel like when it comes to public school, I think Robeson is, you know, if not one, we got to be 1A when it comes to, you know, breeding out, you know, those type of basketball players, you know, and actually, as you see now, those type of coaches, because, you know, Coach Mage, you know, also embedded in us, you know, to do that. Todd was the first one before all of us.
That's a fact.
He was the first coach before.
Yeah.
Me and Phil was, you know, right behind with Chanel and Eric as well. So I think it's something dope to, you know, to have, you know, in the back of my memory that, you know, it's always going to be Robeson for life.
And now you're a Naz man, right? Now you're a Kings man.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing right now to get yourself back to where you was, you know, in these last couple of years and even further?
I don't think we're too far off, right? You know, the dynamic of the league has changed. You know, you've seen great players come and go. We know, you know, what, you know, they doing over at Stepanak, and you know that's what we, you know, we looking to get to that point, right? And it's gonna be hard work, dedication, and you know it's gonna take time. But you know, we built that culture from the ground up, and everybody know what to expect. You know, when you playing against Nazareth and it's about hard work. And to me, it's like you get 24 scrimmages to get to the big dance, right?
Great way of looking at it.
Records, people look at records, but people don't understand. When everybody makes the playoffs, it's just getting better day in and day out, whether it's in practice, scrimmages, games. And, once you get to that point, in February, where you got to get things rolling, you need to win a few games in a row and get that on to Brooklyn, Queens, and then on to the city. So I'm always confident in what I do and the work that I put in, and I'm confident that my boys is gonna listen to what we got going on, and we're gonna put forward those game plans, and we always gonna have a few sleepers. That's what it's about.
Yes, sir.
And Coach, you could feel that with your team, that your mentality of preparing for the playoffs and getting ready, and how do you get that kind of message to your players? 'Cause it's hard, for those kids to kind of see the big picture, the bigger view, what you're talking about, not game by game, but getting better and better. How do you kind of get that message of let's look long term to the championship and the playoffs instead of worrying about the moment at
it starts with me. Right? I gotta have that mentality, and I gotta put that into their minds, right? And also you don't want to take nothing for granted. We want the long term, but we also want to celebrate short success. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, right? Because that's what it's really about. It's about learning. It ain't about loss. It's about learning lessons, and that's the biggest thing. And as you get older, as I get older in the coaching world, it's more about cherishing those moments and those memories that's gonna last a lifetime. Obviously, we just spoke about it at Robeson, but it's just to enjoy, with my boys, build and have fun, and also make sure that they are disciplined, to get and reach those goals. And we're gonna take it day by day, practice by practice, and when that time comes, when we gotta throw the ball in the air, we're gonna give it 100%. And that's all you guys for. I'm okay with defeat, right? But we're gonna play with a certain type of swag, style, mentality, and that's just who I am. And it's kind of funny because I just want to harp on that because it's kind of the thing that people kind of look and they don't understand me. I'm one of the most humble guys ever, but from the outside looking in, you would think I'm one of the most arrogant guys, right? It's because I am who I am, but don't mistake my confidence for arrogance, right? Because I'm just a confident, human being that, whatever I do, I'm going to do it, with that type of swag. That's how I was brought up. And, my family members before me were like that. My coaches were like that. So it's just something that's realistically in my DNA, right? So I thought that was important.
And then, Coach, how does it feel? We talked about how you got Nazareth going in the right direction, but just to go back to what Pooh said, how does it feel that Robeson seems to be going back in the right direction, trending back up, and could be, back to where the program was? It's dope, and it's a dope feeling, right? And I think I had my hand in that cookie jar when it came to that, right? I was one of those guys that was sitting down in those meetings, pushing for field grade, right? And that's one of the things that he's like a big brother to me, and everybody asks why I'm not going to Robeson or why I haven't thought about that, because it's God's plan, right? And it was going to happen in due time, and I think it's the right time for it. Phil Grant is an amazing human being, a great father, more than all, and he knows the game. He's won on all levels, a Hall of Fame Iona. He got a great resume that a lot of people don't speak about, right? He had one of the biggest resumes in our city, but it's just that time, and when we're not playing, I'm over there. I've already been to a few practices, being active, talking to those guys, right? That's what it's going to be. We're going to support, and that's the only thing that Robeson has always been, is a family-oriented, even the regular students. So Robeson will be back, where they belong, and I'm just happy that, they're able to do that while I'm still around.
And it's crazy. Last year around this time, we got the same kind of interview towards the end with G, right?
Yeah.
So, look, we back at it.
And listen, it's a good time to be Coach Ervin because Nazareth and his PSAL school, Robeson, are on the way up.
No doubt. High School Basketball Weekly, baby. We out.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Y'all ready? You have just stepped into the world of